the reason why I think that for Google, the economic risks of pulling out from China are likely to be contained is because I see two unique things about Google as compared to even, say, Microsoft or certainly Procter & Gamble or GM or Toyota or other companies, is that in the case of most companies, if they pull out of China, the market that they leave behind is going to get occupied by some other multinational company that would then enjoy the scale advantages and cost advantages, innovation advantages, and so on. So that's one, is that their global competitor becomes stronger. The second is that that space that they vacate could get occupied, of course, by the domestic Chinese competitor, which would then become stronger and then flex its muscles outside China and create trouble competitively for the company worldwide. In the case of Google, neither of those two things apply because its global search companies, none of them is present in China or has any kind of a significant share in China. So therefore, it's really a battle between Google, Baidu, Sina, and others, but primarily, let's say, between Google and Baidu. So therefore, they don't run the risk of making their global competitors stronger. Second is that my own analysis is that Baidu does not have the capabilities to do well outside China. So yes, Baidu indeed is a giant in China, but it's not a global threat today. It's not likely to be a global threat even 10 years from now. So to that extent, what Google loses, not that it should lose, but what Google loses if it pulls out of China, it's really what I would say 20% of the world's market, because China is 20% of the world's population. Even as China's GDP continues to rise, per capita income continues to rise, just because its population is 20% of the world's population and the world GDP is rising, China's GDP even 30 years from now is unlikely to be more than 20 to 25% of the world's GDP. It is about 7% today. Essentially, what Google loses is access to 20% of the market, which is important but not catastrophic.